Hello and welcome to Tank and AFV News. My name's Tom, and today we are doing a book review. Today we are looking at, courtesy of, again, the fine folks at Pen and Sword. This one is from Kagero Publishing, and it is part of the Photo Sniper series, Hungarian Armored Troops of World War II by Peter Muzer. It's Mujzer. So hopefully I'm not killing the pronunciation on that. And you might think that sounds a little familiar. Didn't I just review a book on Hungarian armor from Photo Sniper? And that's true, because his first book, which came out last year, is Hungarian Armored Forces, also the Photo Sniper series. And now this one looks at sort of a broader overview of the creation of the Hungarian Armored Forces in the 1930s and up into World War II, giving a description of units, equipment, all that kind of stuff. And it's a really nice overview. And I was really glad to get this book because, again, it's filling in a niche of something that I didn't have a lot of information on. I mean, Hungarian armor doesn't get a lot of attention as far as World War II history. People tend to focus on, the major combatants. So that's kind of interesting. So this new book is kind of, you can think of sort of part two. This one gets more into, like it says, the operational history. So he's looking at the individual units, the Hungarian army units and what they did. He's even including stories of some of the individuals, stories he was able to get. So this one's getting much down into the nuts and bolts of what these individual units are doing. And, fortunately for the author, the Hungarian armored force was not nearly as big as some of the other countries, so you can actually focus on individual units without, getting overwhelmed and ending up with a book that's, humongous. The layout is similar to the last one, so there's plenty of text, but there's quite a few images. So a lot of black and white pictures. This is a typical example of a sort of text to picture ratio, in case you're wondering. I'll give you another example here. So there's some maps that are included, photos. So quite nice as far as illustrations, but still, plenty of content in terms of text. And it's a fairly substantial book for this series. It's 130 pages, so it's a little thicker than actually the first book in the series. It does also have some nice color photos in the back. Looks like 4 or 5 pages of color photos. Let's see, this is probably a better angle. Give you an example. It's also got organizational charts of the different units, sort of laid out in this format. You can see that, hopefully. Like I said, it's just to give you a brief idea. If you really want to be able to look at it in detail, buy the book. And then at the end, some nice, your sort of standard illustrations of some of the vehicles used by the Hungarian forces. Including even something like here's some Stuart tanks. So, that must have come via Lend-Lease to the Russians that were then captured and pressed into Hungarian service. So, interesting story right there on those. So, if you are interested in Hungarian armor, this is certainly going to be a welcome addition to your library. And, if you get both of these together, they make a pretty comprehensive history. At least I'm sure there's nothing else that compares to it in English right now on the topic. So, hats off to Mr. Mujzer, who wrote these, and hats off to Kagero for taking a risk and publishing something that's, a little bit niche, but, for those of us that are looking to sort of fill in all those little, I try to have as comprehensive collection I can of books on the topic, so to be able to fill in these little corners that haven't been really looked at in detail, it's a really nice resource. And these are going to come in really handy down the road when I get to my Tanks of World War II series. I've mapped them all out in advance, and one of them will be dealing with the armor of the sort of minor Axis allies, primarily on the Eastern Front, so Hungary, Romania, and so forth. So these will be a really valuable resource. The book retails for $34.95, and it is, like I said, part of the Photo Sniper series from Kagero. It is available online, various sources, or even at probably your local hobby shop. I'm sure if you ask, they can get you a copy. And it was released in December 19th, 2018, so it's only been out for a few months. So, and one thing I would say, if you're interested in it, I would suggest buying it now. With these kind of books, particularly on topics that aren't going to be sort of super mainstream, for people interested in tanks, value on these books is probably only going to go up. It's kind of book I suspect that 10 years from now, when you go to look to find it used, there's not going to be a ton of copies, and they're going to be even more expensive. So if you're interested, I'd say go out and grab it now. That's sort of my strategy. So that's my advice. So anyway, well worth having if you want to know about Hungarian armor. Hope you enjoyed this review, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you.